You can hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, I don't got no headphones. I can hear you.
Nah, cause it sound clearer in the headphones. All right.
Okay.
Um. All right. Growing up, who was your biggest influences in both music and dance?
Um. Well, it. I feel like a lot of people would expect you to answer that question and give like celebrity names and stuff like that. Um. But before I could even get into the celebrity names, like music and dance alone was my mom and my dad. Like my mom was in a group called Smooth But Funky, and my dad was just a big artist in Arizona. He ended up working with Bangladesh and a lot of other people. So that's what even really got me excited about it in the first place. But um, outside of them, it was like we had a different time era where like I'm not that old, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 29 this year, but not that old. But we grew up with like B2K. You feel what I'm saying? You got your B2K. You had your Mario's, and then you had Chris Brown. So those were like a lot of the people just based off of the stuff that I like to listen to at the time. Those are the people that had me like real inspired to do it. And Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson had her choreographer like a long time ago had the show on Nickelodeon, and we would always watch it, and he would just do choreography for Janet Jackson, and that's what even put me on to Janet Jackson even more. So a lot of people say Michael Jackson. I love how Janet Jackson danced. So that's my like right there. I could really keep going, but it's the root of it.
Okay. Can you take us back to your childhood and tell us like how music and dance became a part of your life?
Well, as a kid, I didn't know nothing else. Like, my family, Tunde and Tahaka, they were in a group with Jimi Hendrix, you know what I'm saying? Before my time, before I even knew about it until later on in life. And then, like I said, my mom and my dad, it I don't know, bro. It took me on a journey. Like it really just took me on a journey of just finding a lot of things. I was 7 years old. Well, I was already dancing and stuff. Kids love to dance and shit like that. So I'm already dancing at like around 2 years old. They got pictures of me standing on my head and stuff. My mom like, come in here and dance. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna come in there and dance. And then around 7, my dad was always doing music. So around 7, he was making a beat, but he didn't know what melody to put on it. And he would always tell me, don't touch my stuff unless I tell you, unless I say you could touch it. So he had went into the kitchen, and I remember this shit like it was yesterday, because this was one of those monumental times where it felt like this is where I found out what I wanted to do in my life. And he went into the kitchen, and I went over to the keyboard, and I started pressing it, and he didn't say nothing. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep going. So I had made up this melody. I got the song in my phone till this day. But I started playing this melody, and my dad tells the story of how I even started playing with the keyboard and everything.
Okay, this would happen, right? I had made this drum beat for Charlie West. Well, it was a beat. And I was trying to do a remix for him. And I had the drum beat just rolling, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't think of shit to go with it. My 7-year-old son, Hasani, came in and was like, yo, let me play with it. So I was like, nah, I don't want him to mess with my equipment or nothing. So, make a long story short, I was eating. And my son got on there and he did that key line that you're doing right now. I was like, damn, that's tight, you know what I'm saying? I just needed a hook to go with it. I was like, fuck it, I'll figure it myself.
Don't want none of this.
You don't want none of this.
So obviously you see what happened, you know what I'm
None of this,
saying? Came up with this.
And that was really when it started. And once my dad hyped me up, it really started from there. And I was like, oh, I want to do music like you, Dad. Like, and then with my mom dancing, it was like, yeah, I need to incorporate what my family does into what I do and make it something better.
Okay. How did your environment or your community shape your artistic journey?
So being from Arizona, it's hard to like find like somebody to really look up to. Like we're always looking up to like LA people. Like it's people here that we look up to, but it's like it's more so like a artistic paint dance. There's rappers here, but you don't really find too much. So um growing up, it really started in Atlanta. Like after I left Arizona, I went to Atlanta to live with my dad because I was acting up out here. So my mom sent me to Atlanta. And it was really in Atlanta, that's when I started to figure out who I was and what was like inspiring me at the time. And if it wasn't for Atlanta, I wouldn't have like um, the variety and ear of sound that I already do. Like I already enjoyed music, but Atlanta gave me that sense of like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. You're around a lot more black people. It just feels like you're home. So when I got there, the first day I actually got to Atlanta, I was in the studio with Waka Flocka and my dad, and they'll vouch. They'll see this and vouch. I was in there with Muffy, my stepmom K-Sheree, Waka Flocka. I think Deb came through. I think Wu might have been there. KO Red. This is a long time ago. So that really inspired the journey to become something. And then that's when I end up going to Sandtown. I went to another school too. Forgot what the name of it was called, but I went to Sandtown. Then I ended up going to Tri-Cities High School, and around Tri-Cities High School, I ended up meeting the creators of the Nene, and then that's what inspired me to like go on a journey of still dance but keep the music going. But it inspired me to create a dance of my own and stuff like that.
Okay.
Which was the Whipdance, of course.
Can you talk about your experience on being a part of the Fast and Furious 7 soundtrack?
See, that's the thing. We wouldn't have been a part of the Fast and the Furious soundtrack if it wasn't for creating the Whip and Rico Brooks. It was a guy at the time. He was locked in with us. I think he managed Sunny Digital. And Rico Brooks, he really, we was just working at the time, and he had an opportunity a couple times for us to just do shows and, you know, put some money in our pocket. So I made the Whip Dance, but I was in a group at the time. And after making the Whip Dance, we had the song. I ended up making the beat for the song. I put the hook on it. 3 other members, PJ, Rari, and Beezy, they ended up getting on the song. And after that, it was kind of like, we was already doing stuff together though before Rico even came and was a part of the picture. We was already doing music with each other, and it really started from when PJ had the PJ Bop. He had a dance called the PJ Bop where you'd be like, ugh, and he made up the Nene, but at the time he wasn't really getting the credit for it because his homies really had more credit over the dance just because he was in college at the time. So that's a whole nother story. I don't want to explain their story and shit. But he ended up coming out with another dance at the same time, and it was called the PJ Bop. And I was new to Atlanta still, and I wanted to figure out how I could become a part of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I live here now, so like I don't want to be an outsider no more. Like I want to figure out what I could do to like fit in almost. And I ended up finding that lane, that dance lane that was like, okay, this is what it is. Like I know dancing is the lane that can really just show me what Atlanta is about, because it was the Whoop Rico, you got the Lean With It, Rock With It, you got a whole bunch of dance, the Campbellton that people don't know about. And that I hit him up through a Instagram comment. And then he was like, email me. And then I emailed him. Then we ended up meeting at a studio, and we ended up coming up with that song. And then it just trickles down onto me creating the Whip Dance, and then me coming to PJ and him telling me like, okay, when I first used to do the Whip Dance, I used to do it like this. And then combo, boom, boom, and the same side with the same arm. PJ was the person that told me, hey, boom, when you do it, drop back the other way, so that way you don't have people just doing it the same way. And then after that, it became something. And then it just, you know what I'm saying? Like when I get to talking about this stuff, I get all over the place because it be like, it's like talking about it, you go through memory lane at the same time. So it's like, it'd be hard.
What's the process? What's the process like for you when you make a song?
When I'm making the song or any song, I really, cause I make my own beats too. So when I'm making my own beats, it's like I really got to figure out what I'm feeling at that moment. So I might not feel anything, but if I click through a sound or I play something, it might make me feel whatever I'm gonna make. And then I mumble everything. Like I'll mumble the whole song before I even have words. I just mumble it and find out what ideas I want on the song. And if I find that right mumble, then I'm gonna take that idea and I'm gonna just run with it and make it something.
Is there a particular message or feeling you aim to convey through your music? To convey.
I really want people to have fun again. Like I really want, like a lot of the times it's like it was like a big part of the music industry that was like highlighted as like shooting and violence and shit like that. So I made sure, like, you know, you have your bars where you say little stuff like that, but I just wanted to make sure to get back to the fun of it, and I want people to just have fun again. Like that's just what is missing. I want good music to actually, I want hooks to and good hits to last long. Like I'm tired of like the quick songs that be in and out and you don't hear them no more. Like I want, so that's what I try to convey through my stuff. I try to just get it out of there.
How did it feel to see the whip dance take off in the mainstream culture?
It surprised me, but it didn't surprise me. Like it surprised me to the point of like I knew it would go viral based off of being around the people that I was with. So you had your Michi Rose, you had your Fricos, your Merlots, your Landlands, She Loves Michi, Tusi, Calamar, Levi. You had all these people, and Beezy, Rari, like you had all these people that I was around that really helped make that big. So I already knew it was gonna be a thing. Like I already knew it was gonna go viral. Like just, I thought like the community was gonna do it because they already had motion. They already had motion with a dance. But when I seen that shit like start shooting and going up, that's when I was like, oh fuck, like that's just kind of insane. So that's when I started realizing like, okay, this shit finna take off.
Being in both the music and dance industries, what challenges have you faced in breaking through, and how have you overcome them?
You said what challenges have I faced?
Yeah.
Well, I think my biggest challenge in my career is like, all right, imagine creating one of the biggest things in the world and nobody knows that you made it. Or a big popular generation, or like not a popular, a big variety of people know that you made it, but not the world doesn't know. So when they look up something on what you created, they find somebody else like Silento. They'll find a Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene. So they'll think, oh, you're Silento when I tell them, oh, I created the whip dance. Like, no, I ain't make the song. I created the whip dance. So I think that was like that it's hard. It's like identity is hard when it comes to just answering that question. Like getting people to identify who you are is maybe the hardest thing in this shit, because it's like you can be hard, you can be good at this shit, but if can't nobody identify who you are, you're kind of cooked. So at a moment where we were identified as a group and not an individual, and we were going through our own stuff in the group where shit wasn't, you know, all the way up to par. So I think, you know, once we kind of got in our head a little bit, it gave somebody else the route to, you know, take the ball from us, which is, you know, what happened to happen. And at the time when all that stuff happened, it was hard to deal with it, because it's like, damn, like we're trying to become something and we're trying to, you know, make a name for ourselves. I'm trying to make a name for myself. It's like you trying to make a name for yourself, and then, you know, somebody else sees what you got and then feels like they could do something with what you have, and then they take off with it. So you can't be mad. I was mad then when it's happening, you're mad, but then once you see like what you could have done and how much you didn't do, then you're like, all right, well, that's why that happened to you. So it's just you got a lot of eye openers within situations like that.
How do you see the relationship between music and dance evolving in the coming years?
Music wouldn't pop as much as it does if you couldn't dance to it. Bobbing your head is a dance. Doing this is a dance. So it's like, I think within that shit it's gonna always be there. Dancing will always be there. I couldn't imagine somebody playing a song that they really like and they be like this. It ain't, yeah, you gonna always have to have some, you know what I'm saying, a rhythm, a bop, or something.
Okay. Looking back at everything you've achieved, what are the most things that you're proud of in your career so far?
I'm proud of having a creation, making something, and meeting the people that I've met doing what I love to do. I think that's one of my best, like to be able to, have a name for myself, and not only have a name for myself, but to make sure, like, if I sit back, these are stories that I can tell my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always wanted to, do things like that. And my daughter's on TV shows and shit too, so it's always it makes me happy to see like I've done something that I could tell the world about, or just share with people and make people feel good about something. So I think that's the biggest thing for me.
All right, so the whip dance is something you'll always be remembered for.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want your music and dance contributions to impact future generations of artists and dancers?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just feel like I want everybody to look at what I've done and just realize like you're able to have fun and not get into some fuck shit over nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be like when people see me, like, damn, he was talented, and I can be as talented as him, and I can do as much as I want to do as long as I stay on my shit like him, or love his thing like him. So, if I could just do anything, I just want people to know that they could be happy doing this shit. Like, when they listen to my shit, they'll always get that thought of like, he was happy doing this, and I want everybody to be happy doing it. In the future, now, I just want that to always be, even if it's not the message of the song, I want it to be the feeling of when they're listening to it.
Okay. Is there a project or collaboration that you're currently working on with fans? That fans can look forward to?
I'm working on my project. It's 2025 now. So I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes working with other writers and producers and stuff like that. But I think it's my turn to actually give myself a shot, to really lock in with myself. Because I never gave myself that shot. Like, I never gave myself the shot of like really locking in and really like paying attention to what I can do and what I could be as an artist and as a person. So I think it's that time to really lock in on me. And I'm gonna still help other people. I'm a writer, producer, singer, songwriter, everything. So it's in my blood to help everybody do what they want to do, but I also got to do what I need to do, and I got to put me first this time. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody else.
And how did it feel to see that nobody recognized you for your creation after a while?
It hurt. That shit hurt a lot. But it also humbled me, and it made me realize that, like, you ever heard, like, so you and somebody could have the same dream, but somebody could be working a little bit harder than you, and that's why you don't accomplish your dream? So it let me open that door in my mind to realize, like, oh, you're not working hard enough. You need to work harder, or you need to try other things that make your brand bigger and better to where nobody can take that from you.
If you could go back in time, knowing who you are today, what would you change about your career?
I wouldn't change nothing about my career. I would change something within myself. Like, I just wish I wasn't so goddamn hard-headed. Like, it was a lot of times where, like, my dad told me things that I should have done, or other producers or the people that felt they had a suggestion, and I felt like I knew so much about what this shit was that nobody could tell me nothing. So I just wish I had bigger ears back then. I wish I listened more, man. I wish I had bigger ears. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. Yeah, bigger ears, man. And when me saying that, just I wish I was able to be more patient with myself and other people, just to see what everybody else's vision now. Cause now, you know, me being, 28, about to be 29 this year, 2025, man, you look at shit different. Having a child, seeing, you know what I'm saying, going through shit, losing my dad this year, Valentine's Day, like you'll feel it, man. You'll really start to feel it, man. And I think I'm at that point where I felt it, and now I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. Yeah. They say 3 times you out. I only had 1 strike. And my strike, I ain't strike out. I really hit the ball. It just, somebody had me at second base, so I'm just trying to get back to the first base real quick. That's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to hit a home run one time. That's it. Home run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shit, other than that, what we got? That's it?
Book your appointment, yeah, you should go and get my name tatted. It ain't a place she ain't got it. She got it girl on her body, yeah, you got yourself another tattoo.